So, Adam, how many times have we even beat Auburn in the past 15 years?
15, 06, 07,
8,
9,
11, 12.
14, 15, 16.
Once in 17.
Definitely beat them in 18.
19 and 20.
That's 13.
Dominance, baby.
Not even a rivalry, is it?
No. Welcome, everybody, to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines, and joining me, as always, is Adam Thornton, and this is show number 8. And boy, we are on a roll this football season. Not just the podcast, Adam, the football team as well.
The football team is absolutely on fire, Clark. Boy, it don't get better. It don't get better. Every week we do this, just the intensity just keeps on going up. It just keeps on increasing. Our adrenaline just keeps on just going up every single podcast. And man, God, month of October, this is go time, Clark.
That's it.
Well, a statement game last Saturday, meat of the schedule, big time traditional rivals coming up this next month. Man, let's go. Let's go. This is what it's all about. This is why you're listening to this podcast, and this is why we do it.
Absolutely. We want to thank the people who joined us on our live call-in show the other night. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully you got your questions answered and your voice was heard. We'll do one of those. We mentioned last time we mentioned doing it maybe Florida night, the night before Florida. So be on the lookout for news about that. And we also want to welcome our newcomers, the people who decide to follow us due to our sign being hoisted in the air, a good 20 feet in the air at College Game Day, but it didn't last long, Adam. Why did it not last long?
I tell you what, Clark, let's give a clap to our newcomers.
Yeah.
Hope you can find a home in your podcast world and enjoy the intensity and the enthusiasm and passion we bring to you in each and every episode. We're the Common Folks podcast,
That's right.
Clark. To the new people, we're not sports writers and we're not former Division I athletes. We just, a fan's perspective, we bring it to you.
Yep.
But that goes to our sign. We're the little man. You know, Alan Jackson, he sings about the little man. God bless the little man, and that's what we were against ESPN when our sign was took down, all our hard work that we put in there.
That's right.
And I mean, what it comes down to, Clark, follow our social media page and you will see our documentary of what happened that fateful Saturday morning. It started out a little bit rough there with having the adversity we faced, but what it boiled down to was ESPN, we flawlessly executed hoisting up a sign, 4x8 sign with the telescopic paint rollers that can get on up there in the air.
Yeah, let me clarify just for a second for our audience. 4x8, not inches or whatever. That's feet. That's a huge sign. It's quadruple of everybody else's sign. So continue.
Yeah. So we get two long, the extended telescope and paint roller sticks. So you extend them all the way full out to capacity. And we hoist that bad boy up in the air. Put a picture up. I know it's going to be for those looking on YouTube. Here's a picture of it that was on there. And, I think College Game, it was perfect placement right over Kirk Herbstreit's shoulder. And shout out to Peyton Hart, our friend who was there to help hoist while I was walking back from the car after dropping you off.
Right.
And hoisted it right over Kurt's beautiful TV placement. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just stood out. And it said, follow at row 60. And we got some followers off of that, Clark, for the 30 minutes that they allowed it to come up. And then what happened?
Well, we had this nice, gentleman come up, and he was very polite. But he said that the executive producers of ESPN College Game Day want your sign down because it's free advertising. What? Are you kidding?
The last time I was in this country, we had a First Amendment right to do what we wanted to do. And if College Game Day, you allow people to bring their signs. There was nothing provocative. There was nothing bad. Nothing, we just wanted to show people to come here and just see us. It's not like we're going to challenge ESPN, but they took it as a threat.
Yes.
So, the elephant in the room is we do now have a grudge with ESPN. We have beef with each other. We're going to have our people talk to their people about this, about future relations when our paths intertwine again. And we just have to sort it out and kind of come to a common ground on the issue. Yeah. But I think the people, they looked at our page, saw that.
They had to.
And so, I feel like we're the anti-ESPN, Clark. From where ESPN is now, thank God. Grew up, watched Sports Center, all that good stuff. Grew up loving it. We still do. We have to watch college football from it. Yeah. But on our podcast, guys, we're going to talk about ball and what relates to Georgia football or college football and nothing else. That's why we're the anti-ESPN. We care about football. We care about our listeners, and we're just here because we're passionate about it, not to make a dime and we are who we are, and we're always going to be who we are. So we're going to rant about it because we could have picked up a lot more followers if they would have let us hold up for the whole duration of the show being there. But hey, it worked, Clark. It worked. Beautiful execution, little duct tape, little telescoping along the painter's pole, and a 4x8 sign right there painted. Beautiful.
Good execution, Adam. I mean, it was a good time while it lasted. And,
it was.
Oh, man. It's just one of those things.
I mean, you'll have it, Clark. I mean, I understand now, but we are, we got a little bit of a grudge.
But I tell you what.
Espen.
The next time SEC Nation or Game Day rolls around, I'm telling you, we're taking that sign back out there.
Look for the Row 60 sign.
Look for it, baby.
We're
going to do it again.
Because it's going to be up, and it's going to be in its glory up there.
Yeah. I saw a shot from the stage just of all the signs. And Adam, I'm telling you, other than the Washington State flag, ours was by far the biggest, most noticeable, and it was the tallest amongst all of them.
Game day sign placement, Clark, where people mess up is they want to get there early. They want to get to the front with their little poster board that they drew on for their second grade science class project, putting the solar system on it. So they want to hold up a poster related to that and get in the front. And they might get a pan out in the beginning of it where the old camera comes down on the wire and zooms past them. But what you got to do to get consistent airtime is you got to be higher than the next guy in front of you. So that's where the telescoping poles came in. We got that sign elevated, and ESPN didn't like it.
No. And going back to the guy who came and talked to us, he said, well, how would you feel if College Game Day advertised on your show? We would love
Sign me up, sir.
Yeah. Where's the contract?
Sign me up, sir. It wasn't surprising. I told him it wasn't surprising by ESPN to do that. But, I understand that poor man. He was just doing his job.
That's right.
Just doing his job.
He was a messenger. And
we got a message for him. We're not backing down.
No.
We're coming.
This is just the start of it. This is it. And you know what also got me? We're about to wrap up this rant, but one other thing that
had to be addressed.
Right. One other thing that just got me was there were about 2, 3, 4 other signs I saw out in the crowd. 2 of them were promoting another podcast. And then 2 others had @ symbols, and they were, telling people to follow these accounts. So
one podcast was saying follow to get a chance to win a Tacoma.
Yeah.
A Toyota Tacoma truck. I said, Clark, we're not there on our budget to do them giveaways yet. But I tell you, Clark, you're right. You're right. And then the other podcast, honestly, is a successful podcast out there. But what it boiled down to was that they didn't like how well we executed and made our sign stick out to get airtime. But hey, it's in the past. It was a little adversity. We got through it, got some followers out of it, and glad y'all joined us. We're excited for the show we got on hand. So we just had to get passionate about that rant and let the people know what we went through.
Absolutely. All right, Adam, let's move to the actual game day atmosphere. Beyond College Game Day. Transitioning from College Game Day, we actually took our sign. I thought we were done with this, but we took the sign, we marched it, paraded it rather, down the street. In
front of Sanford Stadium and down to Lumpkin Street.
Lumpkin Street, that's it. And man, we got quite a few followers off that. And
it was a good time.
So good time.
Good conversation starter,
Absolutely. Got into the game nice and early. I was thoroughly surprised to see that our student section, both of them were about filled up about 60 minutes prior to kickoff. That's big time. It shows that we are an elite fan base.
We are elite. Dang right. We are elite from everywhere down in the program, from the top to the bottom.
Yep.
To us just out there. Just we made noise, Clark.
We did.
We made noise, and we were there early. Noon kickoff. It didn't matter. Right. We're going to get rowdy for the Georgia Bulldogs and show how much this football team and this particular season right now and the high hopes and expectations and how everybody in this state and just this whole Bulldog community is just fired up for what's to come.
Yeah.
And what we're living right now.
Yeah. I heard somewhere we made 119 decibels of sound.
That's a lot of decibels.
That's a lot of decibels. I don't know exactly how you measure that, but
I tell you what, Clark, it was more than Penn State had in their whiteout game on ABC at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And as a result, my voice is now shot. So I do apologize. That is exactly why I'm struggling right now.
You got to get you a lemon lozenge. something put in there, kind of make the throw. Should have done that for the broadcast, but that's all right.
Bad preparation on my part.
More authentic.
That's right.
I love a good lozenge or a sore throat. But anyway.
Hopefully I can articulate everything I want to say tonight. But
that's right.
Let's talk. Before we get into football, one more.
Yeah, we got a very important. I'm sorry, we're just all jagged. Yes. We're going off the rails. But when you're this good, when you're this elite as a football program like we are, and heading into Opelika next Saturday, this is where this show goes.
That's right.
It ain't. We're not going to sit here with just some bullet points. Just go through there, just through the motions, a little money. No. Hey, no. Forget that. Anyway, address what we have to do.
Love it.
Sorry. Didn't mean
no,
to
you're good.
I got a little adrenaline.
I need to wake up. Need to pick me up.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Whoa! All right. Got to calm down. We still got a work week to get through before we go to Opelika. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, Adam, give us our weekly concession stands report. How was the food this week?
I tried the popcorn again in Sanford Stadium, Clark, and it was good. It was good. It was A+. Good popcorn, good quality. Had a good crunch to it. You know, it cooked just right. Great job by that. And the kernels. Not a lot of kernels at the bottom, so they made the best of every pop.
Yes.
And fully in every bucket. But enough with the popcorn. What I've decided to do, and at Vanderbilt Stadium last Saturday in Nashville, I wanted a hot dog. It looked good, so I got me a hot dog. I thought that's good. This is going to be my new pregame traditions. Absolutely. As a snack, I'm going to get an old hot dog. And I'm going to go through now the remaining games. Each stadium that we go to, I'm going to rank my hot dog experience.
I like it.
So
kind of like Barstool does with pizza.
Correct. But with SEC Stadium or wherever, college football stadium, hot dogs. Clark, I hate to admit it, but first in the rankings now would have to be Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt makes a good hot dog. It was better than the one I had in Sanford last week. I feel like I've been ruthless to the Sanford Stadium concession stands here on this podcast, but I'm gonna go with Vanderbilt being number one so far. It was a dang good dog. I had to go back and get another one. Dang. Over there. But I just got one here at Sanford.
Well, you got to be critical about everything when you are 5-0, and you got to make sure that everybody's up to our standard.
That's right. I mean, it's a standard. It's a standard we're trying to get to all the way across the board. So, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's a moral victory for Vanderbilt. Good job, you guys.
Yeah, good job, Vanderbilt Concessions. Good hot dog.
There you go.
Clap for them.
All right, let's talk some ball.
Let's do it.
Adam. The last time, a little fun fact here, the last time we had back-to-back shutouts versus SEC opponents.
When was it, Clark?
1980.
Now, man, that's a special year in Georgia lore right there, boys and girls. I don't know if the good lords are just aligning some stars for us, but man, I love it.
Oh, my goodness. That offense we did pick up this week. The rushing game looked phenomenal. Had no complaints with it. I thought the offensive line blocked well.
Yes, sir.
We did a great job with pass protection and run blocking. Adam, what'd you think?
Yeah, we harped on that, Clark. I mean, especially during the call-in show, we talked about Arkansas was going to come out with that 3-3-5 defense. Yeah. They were going to come out, play 5 defensive backs, 3 deep safeties, 1 in the middle and 1 on each side of the field. And when they do that, you got to run the football on them. And they gashed them. Gashed them. So how many yards per carry, Clark? Was it that?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's like close at least to 4.9.
Right at 5. Let's call it 5. So when you do that, and we talked about how we needed to run the ball better in the interior, and then our guard play and blocking, and we did it. We did it. And that's what you do against defenses like that. So perfect execution all the way around. Man, a big time win. So I was thrilled. And you're starting a second string quarterback too.
I know.
So I mean, to come in there and put up 37 points on the board too with that, and wore them down and posed their will. I mean, in the second half, it was just truly just line up across your man and you beat him down. And we beat the Georgia offensive line, beat the defensive front of Arkansas down physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. They were just done and just mauled them. And that was grown, man. Kirby Smart, that kind of game is right up Kirby Smart's alley, don't you think, Clark?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's kind of refreshing to see that we had this type of game where we're just rushing the football and we're pounding it. It's kind of reminiscent of our those former Georgia teams before Kirby got here. So it gave me goosebumps a time or two. I was thrilled. I will say this though, I I think we're still missing that explosive running back play, where we see a guy streaking for 30, 40 yards. I don't think we've gotten that this year.
But don't it feel like they're this close? Like James Cook, Kendall Milton, like this close to it. I think we're going to see it. But that's something we need to talk, because a lot of people in the second half are like, this is boring. I mean, who's saying this is boring when you're beating a number 8 ranked team, shutting them out, and if you understand football, imposing your will on them.
Right.
When they have 5 DBs on the field, you're not going to sit out there and throw it around like Mike Leach and throw it 50 times a game. Hey, no, common sense wise, you pound the dang football. Mm-hmm. If they put 8 in the box, then you try to spread it on out a little bit and get outside with some quick passes and throw the football. But you take what the defense gives you. In the Ole Miss Alabama game, Ole Miss wasn't going to let Alabama beat them through the air. Then, bam, they come in, they pound the football. Right. I mean, it's simple, folks. It's simple. So I'm sorry. I just heard a lot of people talking about why we're not throwing the football. We need them press recruits. It needs to be flashy. No. 37-0. That's flashy enough. And out physical in the team and doing that. That's what it's all about, Clark. Yeah. And that's elite.
I held the ball for 36 minutes offensively. It was a slow, kind of methodical game offensively. I like that. I mean, and it just goes to show, I think, that Todd Monken really knows how to scheme against different types of defenses. We face some 3-4s, we face some 3-5 defenses now. So it's promising to see Monken being able to adjust the game plan each week and put his guys in position to make plays and to move the football. So that's good.
It is. It is. And I absolutely Monken is a great offensive mind. I truly think that. And for Stetson Bennett to be plugged in, and I mean, really, and a lot of people say, well, the coaches don't trust them to throw the ball downfield. But no, it's going back to what we said. The game plan was to run the football, and I think Stetson did a good job. There was a couple times where he checked into some plays. He saw something at the line, checked the other direction, and that was some of our longest runs, you could tell. Yeah. And so, I mean, good job by him coming in. I mean, a veteran guy. You can't ask for better when your number 2 guy out of the gate has played as much ball and been in the environments that Stetson Bennett has. That's huge, Clark. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Stetson. Yeah, I think people, man, they just they really give Stetson a lot of crap, and I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's warranted. He has done, I think, exactly what we need him to do for this football team.
Yes.
He understands his role, people. He understands he's not, an All-American quarterback, but he goes in. He's smart most of the time. Mm-hmm. He's smart. He can read coverages. He can see and make adjustments on the line. So that stuff is good to know when, you've got a guy like JT who isn't fully healthy. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to wrap him up in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, anybody out there with any connections to some bubble wrap companies, send it to Athens, Kirby, Gorilla Tape, bubble wrap.
We'll buy it for him.
Leave the kid in a bubble, for goodness sake. Golly. But anyway, Stetson, though, and what I love about Stetson the most, Clark, is he bleeds red and black. He loves Georgia.
Exactly.
And he has. And all these kids love playing with each other. And you can just tell the chemistry on this team is different. Mm-hmm. It's a different feel. These guys are mature. They're selfless. Everybody knows their job. We've talked about it, and they just go out there. And when you have that mindset and that attitude that they have, it's the results that we're getting so far. Yeah. And you can't help but just get freaking pumped up about that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I tell you about going back to the maturity and just kind of the mentality of this team. And one thing I mentioned to you, Adam, walking out of the stadium, normally in a Mark Richt coached football game, we would see our players, go to the hedges, jump in the hedges, go hoorah, and that's fine. It's great to have a good celebration every once in a while. But we literally shut out an Arkansas team 37-0. And I saw a couple guys go over and wave at the fans. But, man, it just seemed like business to our guys.
Yes.
Just that grown man mentality, like we are better than you, but we're going to act. We're going to act in a professional manner. This is just business for the Dogs. And even if we are playing an 8th ranked team, and even if we do beat the crap out of them, it's just, I love that.
Well, Clark, it felt like what Alabama fans felt like.
Right.
I mean, for a team to come in all hyped up, the whole week, can they beat Georgia? Can they beat Georgia? And then just the talent level and the gap just shows on the field like that. How much depth Georgia has. And that's what happens when you recruit the elite level and build up the depth that they have. And Kirby said something interesting, Clark. This team, he was referring to the defense, but it's the whole team in general. It's not necessarily playing up to who their opponent is, but it's playing playing up to the standard that they have set and the goals that they have set and going out there and focusing on that. And those standards are very high, and that's championship caliber of play, folks, is what that is. Exactly. So I think that's the attitude and the mindset, definitely the defense, but sure enough, the whole football team, I think, Clark. So, and that's what we're seeing in Athens, and it's special, man. I've never seen anything like this before in my years of watching Georgia football. It's a team that's this dialed in and talented on top of it. God, it's a good combination.
Adam, let's talk running backs right quick. Because, I mean, really, there's not much to talk about with our passing game. I think Stetson threw for about 72 yards. Didn't have to throw it. Didn't really need to. Ladd McConkey, he made a good catch.
Yeah, and old Kenny McIntosh, a little wheel route or something.
Oh, yeah, that was a good touch there by Stetson. But going to running backs here, we had 4 running backs get 10-plus carries. That is unbelievable. I've read this on Twitter and different places, but people really do believe that this is the deepest backfield that we've ever had at Georgia. I mean, and when we say deepest, you look at guys like Sony and Nick and DeAndre when they were all 3 there, or Gurley and Keith and those boys. But, 4 guys, they're equally as talented. I think they have different strengths, but they're equally as talented.
Well, I tell you, Clark, and really 5, you could all 5 of them. You throw in DeJuan Edwards in there. I'm saying that they all probably could start at multiple SEC schools right now, definitely Power 5 schools. But these guys understand their role, and they cheer on the other one when they're in there getting carries. And that's how you extend a running back's life throughout his career, is limit the carries. Don't ride them, and get them hurt. And just so I love how that's a selling point, I think, at Georgia, is that you can get on in the NFL and not just take many hits that are just shortening your career. Like some college running backs have been just rode throughout their career when they get to the next level. But these guys, going back to what we said about the defense, you could tell they're a connected group. The chemistry's there with them, and they know their role. And each one of them is 100%. When they get in there, they're wanting to, they love each other. They want to outdo the other one. It seems like, as far as just they run hard, man. They run hard, and you're right. I mean, I don't know, James Cook. It just feels like he's this close to just absolutely just busting. I know he had like a 20 or close to 30-yard touchdown run at South Carolina, but it feels like one of those when we're on the onside of our 50 that he could just take off in the cannon, And I think Kendall Milton is honestly the most pure, athletic, and talented back out of all of them. Yeah.
So, God, just a bunch of freaks, man.
But they are great.
Oh, equally as great as our defense. My gosh almighty. It's unreal how good we are defensively.
I tell you, Clark, and it is. And of course, Vanderbilt is not up to par talent wise, and Arkansas would. But what has happened the past 2 games, and we'll get to it when we preview our next game. But they've come out there and just gut punched their opponent these last 2. I'm really but in the sense of the defense shutting them down, the offense, Stetson coming up, putting up 7 points in their first offensive drive, but the defense, man, and that crowd level. Yeah. When Arkansas, they decided to return the kick back out, pin them behind the 20-yard line, 2 false starts penalties, and they're deep in their own territory right there. I mean, you can just pin your ears back and go after them. Yeah. And it was 3rd and 24 before they could blink. Right. And when you get hit in the mouth like that, and it kind of deflates you. Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's 21-0. And the panic button sets in, but our guys are still ramping it up, going after. That's when, that's absolutely putting your throat on, man. So this defense is it's amazing, Clark. I mean, just some of the stats. When you look at it, and I know you got some stats over there. Yeah. Kind of tell us what they got there.
Let's go. All right, first in the nation for total defense. But let me break that down. It is just unreal how good this team is. Defensively, we are first in the nation in fewest yards given up on the season. That's a total 893. That sounds like a lot. When you break that down in 5 games, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
The next best would be Wisconsin with 996. We are first in yards per play. We've only given up an average of 3.34 yards per play. The next best would be Iowa State at 4.07.
Wow.
First in offensive touchdowns given up. 1. And that was our second string.
That was second string against Carolina in garbage time, man.
Right. The next best would be Clemson, who's had 5.
Wow.
All right, then, we're not done yet. First in yards per game, 178.6. The next best would be Iowa State with 233.6. I mean, the numbers don't lie, people, and I know there's some people out there who still say, well, you haven't played a good, solid, elite offense, and maybe that's true, but we have handled the teams we have played.
But the problem, there isn't any solid elite offense.
Right.
There's no 2019 LSU. I mean, Alabama's good, but they're not what they were last year. They're not the 2020 version. There's no 2019 LSU offenses out there. There's no 2018 Clemson offenses out there. There is not an elite level offense that we talked about in preseason that we felt like college football was shifting. And is it getting now that it is going back to a line of scrimmage league? Are these D coordinators dropping 5 DBs back, trying to stop the passing game, get it back to dialing it into the trenches? And I mean, man, I honestly think that this defense is setting up for historic status and almost can be parallel to what, like, say, LSU's 2019 offense was historically, but on the other side of the football on defense. Yeah. I mean, I think that's where we're going with this. Yeah. And I think once the defense keeps on, the offense is starting to feed off the defense's momentum. Like, the defense is playing so good, the offense is like, all right, we need to join the party too and ramp it up.
Exactly.
So I think that's what we're seeing in Athens, man.
Yeah.
And, there's no signs of slowing down.
No. I did see. All right, so I guess my only thing during the game, I was like, oh man, this may be cause for concern later. We did give up a couple of big quarterback run plays. There were a couple draws, and I think they schemed that well. They took advantage. I know they sent about 4 receivers, kind of in diamond formation, and then they got KJ up the middle a couple of times. So that was a big play for them. And I think that's exactly what Florida does. I think that's exactly what Auburn may do next week. But I don't know. I still think our guys are so smart, and Kirby, we've got film on that now. So, got time to prepare for that. But anything else that you saw defensively?
You're right, Clark. But I think, though, there's going to be plays against these mobile quarterbacks where they're going to get theirs. But if they're going to take off on their legs often against this defense, they're going to, unfortunately for them, they're going to be in the sideline injury tent's going to pop up because they're going to be in against these bruisers. It's just the quickness of it, getting from outside to outside, running the whole length of the field, be able to do that. It's just amazing. It is amazing how fast this team is, and secondary play just keeps improving. And when you got a defensive line like this, I think people we talked about back in the day when football, before it changed into what we're seeing now. The Alabama defensive line was so touted. I think those guys back then and what Kirby's like first defenses were at Alabama, where he was D coordinator, and when they got to elite level, it was like Terrence Cody and them boys, Dante Hightower, them fronts. They were just big boys, and as far as just could clog up holes and everything. But dang, these boys are big, but they could fly the football. It's a different caliber of defensive front we're seeing in Athens, folks, and people don't realize that, Clark. Yeah. So I think the mobile quarterback will have more success against this defense than what pocket passers will do, because I don't think they're going to have time to ever get comfortable, no matter what the offensive line is, who they are. So I think we're going to be all right. But yeah, I agree. It would be nice to contain a little bit better against some of these mobile guys.
And, I think there's still going to be some offenses out there remaining on our schedule who may give us a little bit of a challenge. And, y'all, we could be dead wrong. But I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Through what we've seen these 5 past games, man, it's promising. It looks good.
Yes, sir.
We just look so well coached right now. So,
dialed in. And Will Muschamp, again, we can't say enough about the addition of him. That's kind of being overlooked by some people. I think his handprint's just all over this defensive team we're seeing too. So just a blessing, blessing of riches on the coaching staff and talent. So, let's keep it rolling.
That's right.
Keep it rolling in the Jordan Hare next week.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We'll get to that. Yeah. All right. Special teams, Adam, block punt. God, man. What'd you do when we blocked that punt?
I ran around my section up there just trying to hug people. I mean, I know it's during the COVID era, but still, just wanted to come high-five them and just pat them on the back, all the people around me, and just got jacked. I accidentally hit my wife on the head. So I was standing on the bleacher and just kind of gave one of these numbers when I come down with my foot, and actually just popped her on the head.
Now listen, you got to be careful. People make mistake in that for something else.
Yeah, that was bad. But I tapped it, kissed the head, and just kept on celebrating, just to show my condolences about it. But What did you do during that block punt?
Oh boy, well, this watching Isaiah win back in the day, and whether it be DeAndre or Sony or Nick, whoever scored that running back touchdown, they'd always get hoisted in the air, right? Like Simba style, but reverse, So anyway, I took my wife, God bless her, she is a trooper, and I lifted her in the air. And she does not like that, and I kind of figured that out.
Did you get to chew it after that?
Oh, I did.
Oh, man.
It wasn't pretty, but
it was worth it, though, right?
It was worth
the celebration.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, when you get those just rare plays, you don't get a blocked punt very often, especially for a touchdown.
A surprise special teams touchdown, like blocking a field goal, running back, or blocking a punt, getting a touchdown. The adrenaline, just bam.
You gotta love it.
Or a pick six. It is, oh, man, there's not in football, there's not a more just, maybe in anything, there's not a more natural high than seeing the dogs do that.
Yeah.
But if we're going to be honest about it, there's
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, there's nothing. Oh, yeah, but it was so beautiful. Dan Jackson, he came in there. He got a hand on that. It's beautiful execution. Just came right up the gut right there. And it blocked it, and the ball just died. We're in the middle of the end zone. And old Dan, he's looking around for it, thinking it's still in there. And Zamir, Zeus popped. It was Zeus, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Zeus hops on the ball and 21-0, and then it's routes on.
Yeah,
they're already about halfway through the buzzsaw at that point.
I tell you, I think a lot of people think those kinds of things are just pure luck, and I think you have to be kind of in the right place at the right time. But that was schemed. Was schemed. It was just beautifully executed, and it was amazing that kid took it off. He didn't even take it off the kicker's foot, which is what you're supposed to do. He got it in the air.
Oh, yeah. A good scheme block punt actually against Arkansas opened up the 2002 SEC Championship. Their first offensive series. Big Corey Bryant got one going in there. And then 05, you can see it. That one was, there's different ways you could do it, but those, I think it was John Fabris who drew up them, would be where the gunner would come in, time it perfectly just off the line. It was just beautiful. Yeah. Like you said, but it's just pure, just genius.
Yeah. Punt team. Oh man, this is about the only thing that looked bad the whole day. I had 3. I thought it was 4 illegal, or maybe it's 3 illegal formations. We had too many guys in the backfield.
Multiple times. That was surprising how it didn't get corrected. Camarda hit the ball good, like he always does. But, that was kind of odd. Old Muschamp's going to have to go back to the old film room on that one, kind of look like, what the world we got going on there, guys?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's above my head of figuring out why that happened after just one time and it wasn't corrected.
It's funny. You got all these punt formations now. A lot of the time back in the day, everybody get on the line. You get this man, head up, go. And we just got motions now and all this stuff. I think it's more complicated than whatever.
Exciting.
Jackpot. 3 for 3, looking like his usual self.
Yes, sir. He's in the groove now. And I don't know, never been a kicker, but I'm sure that some stuff, it just takes a little bit of time, just knock off the old rust and the cobwebs a little bit and get going and get in the groove. And he's in it. He's in it. So awesome job by Jackpot there, man. And just our kickers are good at everything on special teams. Besides what you said, the miscues with the formation difficulties there, but rolling right along.
That's it.
Right along.
Oh, yeah. Last comment about this game, and Adam, you feel free to disagree with me here. But I tell you, I think this is one of the most complete 4-quarter games I've ever seen. Now, you've seen a lot more games than I have, but what would you comment? What would that?
Oh, absolutely, Carl. As a top 10 opponent, it would have been good against anybody. Anybody. Any directional school from Michigan or Illinois or something that some people play out in the mat. Anybody like that, heck yeah, we would have took it. But to play it against a number 8 ranked SEC team in Arkansas, a team that came in with a lot of hype and their fan base excited, and come in there and just dominate from beginning to end. And really, those boys, before the first snap, they knew. You could tell 2 false starts like that, crowd being elite. What I love loved about it, Clark, is you have game day there. You get the exposure of that leading into the noon kickoff. A lot of eyes around the nation, a lot of recruits looking at it. The environment was good, beautiful day. Honestly, you couldn't have lined it up to be any better. And speaking of recruiting, we're not going to dive too much in recruiting, but just keep an eye on your recruiting source this week, and it could be a surprise.
Oh, Adam, all right now.
Could be a surprise. I'm not no insider by any means, but just could be a surprise.
I like it.
I mean, who wouldn't want to come play for this team right now? They're showcase. So it was a beautiful, beautiful day in Athens. A lot of good publicity for the Georgia football program, and a lot of eyes across the nation watched that, and we're very impressed.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, moving on to Auburn. God, can you on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most amount of I hate to use the word hatred, but
go ahead and use it.
Hatred.
The Lord understands this meaning of hatred. It's different meaning. Go ahead and use it. I hate Auburn. I hate Auburn. I hate Opalanka. I hate Pat Dye. I dislike Pat Dye. He was a Georgia fan. That was bad. That was bad. My bad, guys. That was too far. Too far. Nah, but God rest his soul. He was a good football coach, sure enough. But I don't like Toomer's Corner. I don't like Bo Jack. I mean, from a sports psychological points. What I'm trying to make here. I don't like Auburn. I do not like Cam Newton. That 2010 season. Oh man, that trip out there. No, I don't like Auburn. But I mean, it's a respectable rivalry, Clark. You've had, like I mentioned, Pat Dye. He played at Georgia, coached at Auburn, had a lot of success at Auburn, won a lot of SEC championships there. Vince Dooley played at Auburn, coached at Georgia. Yeah. Joe Eves, Georgia's longtime athletic director, was an Auburn man. Ert Russell was an Auburn man. And like Mike Bobo, who coaches at Auburn presently, coached at Georgia, played quarterback at Georgia. A lot of intertwined there, and I'm almost like a big brother, little brother, brotherly rivalry. And it used to be that way. It used to be a respectable rivalry between the two back in the day. But I think ever since about 2010, with the Nick Fairley, Cam Newton saga, it's just turned ugly. What it is today.
That game, oh my gosh, you were there, weren't you? In 2010.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I mean, Georgia wasn't really good that year, and of course, Auburn had their once in a generation quarterback, and Cam Newton, who and they pulled off the national championship that year. Georgia went up, I think, like 24-7. Yeah, and then Auburn had an onside kick in the second half. Cam took over. Fairley had some dirty shots. A guy that I really don't have much use for with some of his antics, to be honest with you. So, Auburn always tough game against them. But man, it's been one-sided though, Clark.
It has 13-3 in the past 16 meetings. Is that more? I think that's more lopsided than Tech, is it not?
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean well right at it, because Tech won in 14, Tech won in 16, and Tech won in 08.
Well, all right. Well, equally.
So equal. I mean, it's equal. It's equal. Yeah, it's equal.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at that. So
the overall record, 61, 56, and 8. So Georgia leads that. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Oh, man. It's one I do look forward to this one.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to feel weird it being not in November, though. I mean, I know last year in the COVID years in September, but it's going to feel weird. Seeing Georgia play in Jordan-Hare and not be a cold November Saturday night at the end of the year, like about to clinch the East, I mean, it's a different feel, but being in October, Clark. One thing though, I mean, there's some black magic in Jordan-Hare Stadium. A lot of voodoo, witchcraft stuff goes on there. I've seen it happen many a time, and it's a scary place to play. I don't care who you are or that place gets rocking. And it's a 3:30 kick. And after what they did to LSU last week, the first time they won in Baton Rouge, Clark, since '99. So they get that monkey off their back. Brian Harsin, Penn State, the only team they lost to, is ranked 4. So what? They're 4-1. Auburn is, and they're believing. They're believing over there. Bo Nix looked better last week. I honestly thought, and you thought, we were talking about this off air, that he wasn't going to start. Yeah, but he does, and look pretty good. But Auburn's going to be like that. Makes me know that atmosphere you can count on. It's going to be loud. Yeah. It's a tough place.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're going to have to take care of business. I really think this week, and I know we've been saying this kind of all past 5 games, but our offense has got to get going. And, I think they're really going to key in on a run game. Yeah. They're going to make Stetson or JT, I don't know who is going to be starting. They're going to make whoever is playing quarterback. Throw the football, I believe.
You know, Clark, one thing that I'm more confident going into this game than the past few years against Auburn with those Kevin Steele defenses, especially in 17, when they had it wasn't to the elite level of our defensive front, but it was a good elite defensive front with Derek Brown, Big Cat Bryant, those guys, and they would make life miserable on the Georgia offensive line and the backfield, quarterback and everything. I don't think they're up to that standard. The defense isn't there, what we've seen from Auburn teams here the recent years. So that makes me feel a little bit better. But, playing a lot of these guys on both sides of the ball, Clark, really is their true first SEC road game in the sense of that SEC atmosphere because of last year being at 25% capacity stadiums. And then Vanderbilt this year, it wasn't that. There was more red in the stadium. So, how are those guys going to adjust to that? These are all questions to be asked.
That's a good point, Adam. I didn't really think about that. But I tell you, talking about Auburn's defense, their secondary, though, to me, they seem to struggle a little bit against LSU's passing attack. And maybe there's going to be some holes zone coverage, that we can sit down, get some good curl routes in there, corners, quarter beaters. I think there's a lot of options for us in our passing game. And then I think if we can consistently throw the ball, we're going to be able to consistently run the ball and vice versa. So,
be balanced and be able to whatever that they were going to line up and make us beat them. We beat them in that area. If they want to take away the run, we beat them through there. If they want to take away the passing game, pound it, man. Yeah. So being able to be balanced and move the football, whoever the quarterback is going to be key, obviously, in this football game. And I think it's something that's going to be doing. It's not going to be. Like I said, it's not the same defensive front that we've remembered going to Opalanka and facing in 17 with the number one team in the nation that day. Not that it's not the same football team, but the environment's going to be rowdy. Yeah. And they're very capable of beating us, very much so.
Can't overlook this one. I think a lot of people, including myself, to be honest with you, is kind of looking a little too far ahead to maybe even Kentucky and Florida, but we got to get past this week. Right. Got to get out of there alive. So, Adam, what do you think about Auburn's offense? Did you get a chance to watch them against LSU?
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of that game, Clark. Most of it, actually. And Bo Nix looked like a different quarterback last night. I mean, the kid's a gamer. He's got a high motor, he's got a high motor, and he's tough. You can tell he's tough. And you get good Bo and bad Bo. I think, against Georgia State, it was like, dang, we called this. And then Harsin trots him back out there against LSU, and he lights it up. But what I take away from that game is not to take anything away from Bo Nix because he made some very athletic football plays, no doubt. But, God, that LSU defense and the whole team in general, in my opinion, and I'm not a coach, but just call it like it is what I observe. I think they're a poorly coached football team. Yep. LSU was some of the worst open field tackling I've seen. And I'm hoping that some of the extending plays that, Bo Nix is looking like 1950s Fran Tarkenton out there, 60s, just scrambling around, reversing field. I'm hoping some of that he did against LSU, the athleticism of Georgia's defensive front, he's not going to be able to do that. If he starts doing that 2 or 3 times, that's when he's going to get 12, 15-yard loss doing that. So, but he will make some plays and extend them. But I do not think he will have, actually, I'm just going to say there's no way he has the luck running around in circles and just making circus plays, playing backyard football, playground football against Georgia. I don't think it, but he could. It could happen. Yeah. That's how some of these teams slip up and upset them, is guys like Johnny Manziel doing that against Kirk. But Bo Nixon knows Johnny Manziel, obviously. But I just don't think he's going to be able to play that playground backyard football type run around against this defense. Or there's going to be facing a lot of third and long, second and longs when he's trying to do that.
I'll tell you, that's a good point. Auburn's offensive line, I don't know how good they are. I thought they gave up a little too much penetration, and that's why he was kind of scrambling.
Exactly.
He's an athlete. If Bo Nix has a good game, it may be a ball game. It may be.
Yeah. And that's going to be if he is able to extend plays, receivers get open from our secondary. He's not going to have time to sit in the pocket, set his feet, and throw the ball downfield. It's going to be how much his ability is to break containment, get outside the pocket, extend plays, and keep drives going and get points here and there. Tank Bigsby is a great running back, but they're not going to run the ball on Georgia. They're not going to gash this Georgia defensive line. Yeah. It will be took away. So it's going to come down to how they're going to make Bo Nix beat them through the air. So is Bo Nix up for the challenge of evading that Georgia defense all day and staying healthy and making plays? And if he does, you got to tip your hat to the guy.
Right.
But I do not think the Bo Nix we saw in Baton Rouge, Louisiana last night, Clark, is going to get mauled by this defensive front and have a lot of negative rushing yards. Because if he tries that, coming to one sideline, reversing field, turning his hips, going to the other, there's going to be a guy waiting on him right there. The defensive line speed is going to be too quick.
Right. Well, I tell you, they may not run Tank Bigsby as much, but I think they're going to design some read options. They're going to design some speed options against our defense. And if we can shut that down and make them one-dimensional and make them have to throw it, I think we're going to win this pretty handedly. But that's just me. So.
I agree.
Oh,
I agree. I think it's going to. I mean, but it scares me. Any game in Jordan Hare scares me.
Yeah.
And especially, I didn't. What Clark? Let me ask you this: would you have rather them have lost to LSU? Do you think it would have just broke their will after almost losing to Georgia State? You hear about dissension in the coaching staff, and then. Or do you like what you saw from Bo Nix against LSU last night and this team being high up? Does that make our guys focus more and dial in more? And, kind of they say, oh, this Nix kid can play, after getting trashed, he can play. Yeah.
I think, I think either way that pans out, I think our team doesn't care who we're playing. They're going to they have shown this season that they're going to come out and just play a daggum good football game. Who cares what Auburn does? Who cares what Florida, Arkansas, who cares what these teams do? If we play our best football,
you dang right. Preach it, bro.
We're going to win the game.
Let's go.
I wish I had more of a voice.
Tell them what it is. Hey, there's been too many times, Clark. There's been too many times as Georgia fans, we've gone into games against Auburn, against Florida, against Alabama, against whoever and their brother. We're going up against them and say, hey, we can win this football game even though we're underdogs, but what's going to have to happen? We're going to have the ball bounce a certain way. We're going to have so-and-so maybe being out of the game, but we got to play our A-plus game, and they got to play their B-plus game for us to beat them. I don't care who in college football this year that they line up across the University of Georgia. If Georgia's playing their A game and they're focused like they have been this whole entire year, they are going to beat anybody who they play against, even if it's Alabama. Woo. Their A-plus game will beat anybody's A-plus game in the nation, man.
Yep.
That's just the point. That's where we're at as Georgia fans, folks. Sit back and think. There is no wishing or hoping that, something's got to happen luck-wise for us to win a game against a team that we're out-talented against. No, we're the guys out-talented the other team. They're the ones hoping that we have a bad game, that Georgia has a bad game.
And I think that is the only way Auburn wins this football game.
You dang
is if we have a C- game. They got an A+ game.
I mean, it could happen. It's SEC football. It's college football. It's why we love it. But this team is dialed in. There's a focus. And I think, Clark, from what we were talking about, what they saw in Baton Rouge last night, I think it's going to fire them up a little bit more. After I think Bo Nix is going to get a little bit more hype this week. So that defense is going to read that and be like, hey, let's see what we can do against this kid. Absolutely. And I think that's going to play right well into his hands if he tries to do some of that cute stuff. I mean, some of that adorable stuff he's doing out there on the football field.
That's true.
Like he's playing backyard football on the computer. So
I tell you, you know what? I guarantee you, every single defensive guy last night had Auburn LSU on their TVs, whether they were in their apartment or their dorm, and they were probably licking their chops because we may have 7 sacks against Auburn. It could. Who knows?
I'm excited, man. I mean, I am a little bit more concerned after seeing them last night than I was, but I'm this confident in this football team.
Well, good.
Let's go. Good. Look, there's nothing better than going to Opelika, Alabama. Larry Munson's had some dang good calls there. The other night that More Than a Voice was on and Larry was there. That 82 game won the SEC. Look at the sugar falling out of the sky. 2002.
96.
96. What was it? 86 was between the hoses when the Georgia fans came on and the hoses came out and then
people had to take it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That and then in 96 the first overtime game of the SEC. They went a few triple overtime, and Larry said, "We're not going to make it to church in the morning." You know, you think about that. You think about 2002 when Michael Johnson went up high to win the East for us. You know, and David Green. You know, just a miracle. You know, so it's a legacy there. A lot of good memories Georgia fans have there, and I think Saturday is going to be no different, man. So, let's go. This is what it's about. Deep South's oldest rivalry.
That's right. Oh, I can't wait. All right, let's transition to our pick'em. Let's talk about last week's picks and just college football in general. A little insight here. Maybe we can give you guys some insight. I don't know. Let's start with Ole Miss at Bama. I think we both had Bama. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was hesitant about it, and then I was like, Bama's going to do it.
Yeah.
Golly, Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Man, he says the analytics right. He went through for it on fourth down again and again. And maybe it's just like with his defense, he didn't trust there could be stopping, so they needed to score. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a football coach. I can't sit here and bash him by any means, but you kind of think like, dang, did they start going for fourth down way too early? That kind of led to kind of slipping away, even though Alabama is a good football team, obviously. But, man, it was definitely reasonable to question some of the play calling choices and decisions to go for it on fourth down that Lane did, but
did you see
made a statement.
Did you see his pregame interview?
Yes, dear God, man.
Just no class.
Lane, he marches to a different beat drum now. I tell you.
Have you heard
his own drum? That's what it is. The beat of his own drum.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you heard rumors that he may be going to LSU?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's on every coach's hot board. Even USC, where he got fired on the tarmac in Los Angeles a few years back.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I think, yeah.
Bama's still proven, they're one of two best. Adam, let me ask you this. Do they deserve to be number one? Do we deserve to be number one?
I keep them at number one, man.
Yeah.
I keep them at number one. It's 1A, 1B right now. Alabama, that win was as impressive as against Arkansas, their defense, it's not as good as ours, but I don't know if our offense is quite as good as theirs. And I'll be honest, I think an absolute war is brewing in Atlanta in that first Saturday in December.
Oh, man.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the injury bug doesn't bite either team.
Yeah.
But it's certainly shaping up like it's going to be a heck of a collision.
Oh, yeah.
Heck of a collision. And
I can't wait.
This is going to be the time, the knockoff. It's time to kill the king.
You think it's going to be this year?
Time, yes, sir. Hey, I'll be honest with you. My dream scenario, Clemson messed it up, but my dream scenario coming into the season was to beat Clemson twice and Alabama twice.
Dude.
Just slay them both here and there. Let Kirby just go. But I'm telling you, now still, let's beat Alabama twice.
Yeah. Well, speaking
of
Clemson.
Tough, but that's true. Man, that'd be a dream. That's a dream, though.
Yeah. Speaking of Clemson, Adam, oh, my gosh. Did you watch that game? Against Boston College?
Yeah, nice 19-13 victory.
Congrats.
Boston College came down there, and Clemson had a big goal line stand. The quarterback, the center had a bad snap. Quarterback couldn't get on it. Tigers held.
Good for them.
Did they rush the field after it? Like they always do, or is that not a thing anymore? I don't know. Black guy there.
Poor Clemson. No, I don't feel bad for him.
Nope.
All right, Cincinnati at Notre Dame, Adam.
I got it wrong.
Did you? Did you pick Notre Dame?
I did.
I'm pretty sure I picked Cincinnati in the podcast. Now, I picked Notre Dame in the pick'em that I do for Yahoo Sports. But anyway, all that to say, Cincinnati comes up with an upset, 24-13 win.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough going into South Bend and winning. And I think Brian Kelly, that's a typical Brian Kelly game. A top 10 matchup is going to get beat.
Yep.
He's a good coach, but still, winning the big one is kind of questionable with him. But Cincinnati, awesome job. Congrats, Luke Fickell. Man, he probably has the best case in the 7 years or so that the playoffs been in existence. Get a group of 5 team in now if he runs the table.
Right.
And I think he'll probably pad up some scores and build up the resume along the way. But if they don't slip up, I think they're in, Clark.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say, I think this is the year if it's going to happen. And then especially them, they've already beat a Big Ten team that Indiana was preseason ranked.
Yeah.
And then they go to Notre Dame, beat a top 10 undefeated Irish team. I mean, you can't knock it.
Right.
You can't knock it.
You'd have to take them over a one-loss. Let's just assume that they were a one-loss ACC team or a one-loss Pac-12 team.
Big Ten team,
Or Big Ten, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean Pac-12's done.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, Chris Johnson would beg to differ, but yeah, I tend to agree with you.
I think they're done. You can't build a resume that you give a group of 5 team, 2 SEC teams in, and I think Ohio. I mean, they're going. I don't know.
This playoff picture has just changed drastically.
I just don't think the Pac-12. I think Oregon losing to Stanford's not good this year.
Oh,
I think Oregon's going to get beat again.
Really?
Say, yeah.
Well, Cincinnati, I don't think will. They it should be smooth sailing from then on out. So, I already talked about this one some. Auburn at LSU, 24-19. Auburn comes in, beats LSU first time in Baton Rouge since 1999.
Yeah. And we've talked about this game. Bo Nix looked great. Let's talk about LSU for a minute. They just did not look coached well at all. Mm-mm. Tiger Stadium was not full. As a matter of fact, a lot of empty seats in Tiger Stadium. I think Kentucky might pop LSU next week. I don't know. I think that Ed Orgeron is I think this is last year in Baton Rouge. Gene Chizik 2.0. Won a national championship 2 years later out the door.
Yeah.
One hit wonder.
Yeah.
I think the coordinators he hired this go around, that's the defense coordinator, just not proven. And then they try to reach to the Joe Brady kind of tree, same sense, and bring in a younger guy like that. And he hadn't been Joe Brady necessarily. Right. Bad QB play, I think, from Max Johnson too. So, yeah. It was an ugly football game.
It was. All right, Florida at Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. Woo! Dan Mullen, baby. Dan Mullen's 2-2 against the Wildcats. You know who didn't lose to Florida?
A lot of other
Jim McElwain.
Really?
Or didn't lose to Kentucky?
Yeah.
Jim McElwain, Will Muschamp,
Spurrier,
Ron Zook.
Spurrier.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I think that was the first time that Florida has lost in Lexington since 1986. And I think in the past 35 years, I could be wrong on this, but this is in the ballpark. In the past 35 years, Florida has lost to Kentucky twice. 2018 with Dan Mullen and 2021 with Dan Mullen.
Oh, man. I know it well. Shout out to McKay Smith. That makes him a happy man. He cannot stand Dan Mullen. I can't either.
No, I can't either. That's awesome. Kentucky, man, Mark Stoops done a heck of a job with that program up there. They're undefeated, playing great defense. Pretty high caliber defense up there in Lexington.
Yeah, they look juiced, too. I mean, the stadium was rocking and worse than bonkers, maybe.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, man, we'll talk, I'm sure, more about that game or just Florida in general a couple more weeks from now.
That's right. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Game of the week last week, Grand Valley State, Lakers at Saginaw Valley Cardinals. I had this one dead wrong. I called the upset, Adam. The Cardinals were going to beat Grand Valley State.
It's just another walk in the park for Grand Valley State at this point. They have won 18 out of the last 19, something like that. So, you'll have that. Good job, Lakers. Yeah. King of the Valley.
King of the Valley shellacked them 49-17. I don't know who won the fundraiser.
But there we go.
Man. Okay, let's talk about this week's picks. Big week in college football. Oklahoma versus Texas. Red River rivalry. I have to say that. Kind of slow there.
About to be a SEC matchup in the near future.
That's right. Yeah. 12 o'clock kickoff, ABC, College Game Day. Adam, who do you like in this?
I'm going with Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma. An old noon kickoff in the Cotton Bowl like it traditionally is. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma hadn't looked great, but Texas very well could beat them. I'm honestly on the fence with it, but I'm going to go Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to put Oklahoma on upset alert.
And I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right, too. I really don't have much of a reason other than Oklahoma just hasn't looked too great. Yeah. They don't look like they don't look like the number 6 team in the nation.
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
Opinion. But
you're right.
They could prove me wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Arkansas at Ole Miss.
This game's very intriguing, Clark.
It is. 12 o'clock ESPN at Ole Miss.
What do you think?
Man. I think Sam Pittman, he gets it back together. I mean, this is the battle of the losers. Hate to say that. But, look, either one of these teams still could end up number 3 in the SEC, truly. And I know that sounds crazy, but.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Okay.
It's in Oxford, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ole Miss.
All right. I'm going to take Arkansas.
All right.
That's a toss-up for me, but.
That is.
All right, Penn State at Iowa.
Oh, man, I didn't know this game was this week. I had no clues. I guess is that where game day will be?
No, game day's at Oklahoma and Texas. You would think.
You said it was. Oh, that's right. I missed it. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You would definitely think game day would be at this one. Dang, number 4 versus number 3.
I guess because they've already been at a Penn State and Iowa game, or a Penn State game against Auburn, then Iowa against Iowa State. Even though the Iowa game was at Iowa State. Anyway, and they're playing. Anyway, I don't know. Iowa looked good against Maryland. I'm going to go with Iowa, Clark.
Okay.
I am. I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes.
All right. I'm going to go with you. I love the Hawkeyes. 4 o'clock kickoff. It's tough to beat Iowa in Iowa, I think. And
wow.
They seem
they're
like
going to wave to the children and get fired up.
That's it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And that could, man, I tell you, that game in and of itself could really shape the playoff picture because if you lose, I'm not saying you're out of it completely, but it does put a dent in your resume.
That's the front runner of the Big Ten right there. After it wins, but I honestly think whoever wins, they're going to get beat by Ohio State.
Really?
My personal opinion.
Wow.
But
okay.
Yeah.
So you think Ohio State could potentially pull it
back in? Yeah, I think they'll still win the Big Ten. Me personally.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are writing off Ohio State, not giving them. I mean, and look, I don't think they're a great football team first 5 games, but they could definitely change, turn the tide, whatever.
We'll see. I think C.J. Stroud will keep getting better. But
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, and then the last one before we go to the game of the week: LSU at Kentucky. Kentucky's now ranked number 16, 7:30. Man, how do they get all these night kickoffs?
Boy, I tell you, LSU and Kentucky probably get the most night kickoffs of anybody, especially at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Clark, man, I'm going with Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think these are 2 programs trending in completely different opposite directions. Mm-hmm. I think LSU is a more talented team, but I think Kentucky is a team trending up, and I think Kentucky is that much better coached than LSU.
Yeah.
And at Kentucky, those fans are going to be jacked. I think LSU's in a dark spot right now. And I'm going to go with the Wildcats.
All right. I like it. I'm going with the Cats, too.
That's crazy.
LSU, listen.
It's crazy to think we're going to choose Kentucky over LSU.
I know. LSU has won 6 of the last 7. So
yeah. Kentucky beat them one year when LSU was number 1 in 07. And they went on to win the national championship, LSU did, when Georgia should have been in that game. Mm-hmm. But, Kentucky, I think that's the one time they've lost was number 1 team went into Kentucky and beat. So,
yeah. All right, game of the week. Are you ready for this one, Adam?
Give it to us, Carl. Who we got this week? Where are we going to in the country for this one?
To be quite honest, no. All right, we're going to the Midwest. A lot of these teams are just out in the Midwest.
All right.
We're going with Arkansas Monticello. Boll Weevils.
The Boll Weevils.
What is a Boll Weevil?
The Boll Weevil destroyed the cotton industry in the 1800s.
Really?
Oh, it was yeah. It just came through and caused a bunch of havoc.
What are
cotton fields that ate it.
So are Boll Weevils like extinct? Are they still around? Or
I think they're still around, but there's chemicals insecticides that prevent them now, I believe. I don't, but yeah,
they're not insects. Why are they insects?
I mean, it's a bug, a type of bug, from my understanding.
I thought it was an animal.
It eats cotton. It eats cotton.
I thought
it was decimated the cotton plants in the South back in the day.
I thought a Boll Weevil was an animal. I thought it was like some mammal. I thought a Boll Weevil was like the equivalent of an anteater.
Let's go to our statistician, our fact checker. What is a boll? Give us the definition of a Boll Weevil.
Give us just a second, people.
I'm sorry. We need to confirm this.
All right. Oh man, a Boll Weevil is an insect. It's a beetle that feeds on cotton buds. Yeah, you're right, and flowers. Thought to be native to central Mexico. It migrated into the United States from Mexico in the late 19th century and has infested all U.S. cotton growing areas by the 1920s, devastating the industry and the people working in the American South. I tell you what, I don't even we haven't even mentioned the opposing opponent, the team, but I'm going with the opponent because that is just awful. Yeah. I don't like a boll weevil. Adam, let me show you a picture.
Yeah. They're not extinct. Boll weevils are not extinct.
Well, good. They're not good. Well, I guess
they've been eradicated in the South.
Well, good. Okay, that's good. Adam, I want to show you a picture.
Boll weevils that much.
I want to show you a picture of a boll weevil. You ready for this? And we're going to post it for our YouTube
boll
viewers.
Weevil.
Yes, for the mascot boll weevils. I just want you to tell me what this mascot looks like. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
It looks like an anteater.
That looks like an anteater. Yeah, it does. I thought it looks like
that's the best mascot. Might be the best mascot in college football.
Yeah. It looks like
a green anteater.
Yeah. It looks like a cucumber with antennas and Squidward tentacles nose. I mean, truly.
Oh, that's gold.
Yeah.
That's gold. I love it. I love it.
So, all right, let's go back. We may need to do the graphic one more time. I'm going to do the little jingle on the graphic.
Yes,
we're going to do it again.
Do it. All right.
Arkansas Monticello Boll Weevils at Northwestern Oklahoma State Rangers, one of those directional teams.
Oh, man. So Northwestern Oklahoma State is 0-5, correct?
They're 0-5. They're atrocious, Adam.
I want to go with the Rangers because I like Rangers. I like Park Rangers. I like Walker, Texas Rangers. So I want to go with them, but they're 0-5, and I don't like a boll weevil and what it did to the cotton industry back in the day.
Is this a meteor game?
So this could be a meteor game where, I'm gonna forget it. Go with the Rangers. Picking the upset. 1-5. It's happening. Northwestern Oklahoma State with the win.
Oh, man.
Go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
Book it.
Adam, I'm going with you.
All right, there we go.
We don't like boll weevils.
No, we don't like boll weevils. Decimated it. I'm glad it got it under control, but decimated the cotton plants. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is great. That was
true
my
stuff.
Gosh. Yeah. 5:00 p.m. kickoff, in case you were wondering. I don't know where this game is televised, if it even is televised. Oh, boy. I love it.
Love it.
All right, let's move on to Georgia Auburn. Score prediction.
Ding. CBS.
Gosh, God bless the people staying at home and having to listen to this on TV. You'll get Gary Danielson for 5 hours because CBS, you know how they like to do it. TV timeout every.
Yeah. All right, Clark, give it to us. What you thinking?
Let me think about it. I haven't really.
You gotta think about it. Give me 38-7.
All right.
Dogs, baby.
Okay.
Dogs is gonna roll in Opelika. Kind of reminiscent to that 2012 game over there, you know, where we put it on them.
You're taking the Dogs by 31 points.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, if they show, I don't think it's unrealistic, Tate.
Yeah, well, now listen. Adam, when we mentioned this other day, Georgia, the past 2 games have doubled the spread.
Exactly.
The spread right now is at 15, so that's not a bad prediction.
So, another statement game. Man, this defense is going to be jacked out of their mind. Kirby's smart. It might have been more towards Gus Malzahn. I don't know. Don't know their personal relationship, but I just didn't seem like from afar, I didn't really care for the guy too much.
Yeah.
I know Gus Malzahn's not there and he's close with Bobo and all, but still, it's Auburn. He doesn't like Auburn. It's time to welcome Brian Harsin the right way into the SEC. Orgeron couldn't do it, but it's time to show them that they're not in Boise, Idaho anymore, baby. No. This is the Southeastern Conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got the mic drooping on you there. Adam, before you hold that energy, because I'm gonna give you. You gotta get that last bar. That's just gonna be a segment. 32-6 Dogs. Adam, roll on with it.
All right, guys. It's Auburn. That's another meeting. The Deep South's oldest rivalry. This week, everybody get their children's mindsets right. Get your mindset right. Just everything you see, any Auburn stuff you see, just disregard it, bark at it, bark at any Auburn fans you know, and tell them that this Georgia team's elite. Tell them you're elite as a fan, and tell them that the train is coming to get off the track or get run over, because it's heading westbound to Opelika, Alabama, where the Dogs have dominated here recently. And it's time for grown man football to be done on the plains. I don't care if they're War Eagles. I don't care if they're Plainsmen, or they're Tigers, Barners, whatever they are. Georgia owns them, and it's going to continue on Saturday. Kirby Smart's going to go in there and roll 38-7 Bulldogs. I'll see y'all in Opelika. Go Dogs!